What's up guys, I'm Chris and this is Grindwood Woodworking. I'm making this video today just to tell you a little bit about why I love this Harbor Freight Hercules 12-inch double bevel compound sliding miter saw. There's some things I think we should point out that just because something's cheaper doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Now, I can say that does ring true in many situations. I think Harbor Freight gets kind of a bad rap, and that's because they do sell a lot of cheap tools. Yes, they sell cheap tools, but not everybody has a huge budget where they can go out and purchase, $1,000 miter saw, or in a black and green scheme, a $1,500 miter saw. That's just a whole different thought right there. Wow, that's expensive for a miter saw. But anyway, if you go to Harbor Freight and let's say you need some wrenches, and you buy a pack of 8 wrenches for $15 or $9.99 in some cases, they serve their purpose. They're getting you in your shop and they're getting you to work on something for a very low budget. Now, I think people will come back and say, oh, I bought tools at Harbor Freight and they're a piece of crap. Well, you bought wrenches for $9.99. What did you expect? You have to set your expectation when you buy cheaper tools like that. You can't buy $10 wrenches, go home, use them for the purpose you bought them, because that's what happens. People are like, hey, I need wrenches because I'm doing such and such. So they go out and they buy a cheap set of wrenches, they bring them home, they serve their purpose, they use them for the particular thing they bought them for, and then down the road they use them again and again and again, and then one day, guy puts a wrench on a nut, and he just doesn't have it, so what's he do? He grabs another one, gets a little bit more leverage, and he pushes, and it's done. And then he complains that they were cheap pieces of crap. Well, you knew that when you bought it. You did. They were $10. You can't expect great quality tools for $10. So when you think of Harbor Freight, just put it in perspective. It's getting you working at a really low budget. But that doesn't mean that Harbor Freight doesn't have nicer tools or higher quality lines of tools like this. This is their Hercules line. It's their top line. Look, I even wrote stuff down so I didn't get it wrong. All right, I'm gonna add some stuff in here. When I'm talking about things, I'll show you little close-ups and stuff. Try to do some editing here. Now, first and foremost, I am a professional woodworker. I build furniture for a living. I am not a tool reviewer. The only reason I'm doing this really is because, well, I thought it was interesting, and in my last video, that was probably terrible. But anyway, in that last video I had mentioned how much I liked it. So I thought, why not throw a quick one together and just run down some bullets on this particular saw. Now, this saw, 12-inch, dual bevel, compound sliding miter saw. It has a 7.5-inch crown molding capacity. It has a 6 3/4-inch vertical cutting capacity, and it has a 14-inch crosscut capacity. Let's see, it even has a cool little feature that I really like, and that is the depth stop, which you flip that down, and now the saw will only cut to the depth you want it. It's easily adjustable by a little set screw and a wing nut. That's it. Such a simple little feature, but yet so useful in certain situations. All right, what else we got? So, the motor, high output, 15 amp, 4,100 RPMs. All right, the detent plate is adjustable. So that was the other important thing about buying a tool. It does not matter how much this tool costs. If it's not accurate, if it will not cut straight lines repeatedly over and over again, I don't care how much it costs, it's worthless. It's not worth the money if it will not cut straight every time. Now, I've been using this saw for about a year, roughly. It's never fallen out of adjustment. If I set it so it is cutting perfectly straight up and down, and a perfectly straight miter, I don't know, 90 degrees. Anyway, if I set it so it's cutting perfectly straight, it doesn't move from that. It stays. It will cut repeatedly straight, time and time again. The only time it falls out of adjustment is when I take it out of adjustment and move it to 45 or whatever angle I'm trying to cut. Then I'll take like a cheap piece of wood, I'll put it in here, I'll set it back to where I think my zero should be, but I'll make test cuts and check it with my sliding square or whatever, just to make sure that it is in fact back in square. But once I set it and lock it, it's good to go. That's a peace of mind for me, that I don't have to sit there and check the saw every time I go to use it. So that's very important. It's highly accurate. Now, as far as its durability, its build quality, I don't know what to tell you. It's solid. It's heavy. It weighs exactly as much as a black and yellow brand that's 56 pounds. Speaking of that, every feature, if you run down the list, its cutting capacity, crown molding, height capacity, cross-cut capacity, everything is identical to the other. 12-inch blade comes with a 60-tooth blade. I'm still using it. I don't have any reason to change it. It's a good blade. It cuts. Cuts nice, doesn't burn through anything. The motor has plenty of power. It's never bogged down on me. And I've cut 6-inch wide stock with it. So I don't have any complaints there. I've never taken it apart, but I believe it is belt driven, which is the same as another company. Now, I'll tell you, let's see, did I write anything else down? I don't think that was it. Yeah, miters 60 degrees to the right, 50 to the left. They are identical as far as that goes. Beveling, same. It is literally identical feature-wise. That was the other thing. That's the only place that this saw, let's say, outshines the black and yellow one. They are advertised at 3,800 RPM, and this saw is advertised at 4,100 RPM. So what does that mean? Does that mean that this motor's better? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything, really. You are not going to notice a couple hundred RPM. You're just not. And maybe 1,000 RPM difference, you would notice that. You would definitely notice that. But a couple hundred RPM, you're not going to notice it. You would use either saw, they would cut identically. Now get this. This comes in at $379.99. So, say with tax and everything, about $390, $390 couple dollars. That's amazing. Because the other saw, that's black and yellow, comes in at $599, right? Let me just double check. Yeah, when it's not on sale or anything, it's $599. So it is $205 to $10-ish dollars more than this saw right here. What's crazy, now there's a green and black brand. I don't really like mentioning brands by name. Not that I would get in trouble or anything, but rhymes with best tool. So their miter saw, now let me say this first. I've never used one. I've never owned one. I've never used one. I have no idea how they perform, how their build quality is. I do not know. What I do know is it is more than 3 times the cost of this. If you're looking to get into woodworking, or you just need a good replacement miter saw, I would say Harbor Freight's the way to go. Unless you're a label, little label whore, and you have to have name brand tools or something like that, then I guess go waste money. But for me, it's about getting the best product for the best price. Now, using this for a year, I don't know what to tell you. I can't tell you anything bad about it. It's durable. It's never given me an issue whatsoever. It cuts straight. It's easily adjustable. The detent plate is adjustable, so you can get your fine adjustment in there. That's important, because sometimes 0 might not always be 0, so you might need to adjust, but you can do that. The locking mechanism, very simple. Just turn, squeeze, push. I'm not going to move it because it is adjusted, and I don't want to readjust it or put it back into 0. The precision blade guide system, I think it's pretty ingenious. It's so simple, but yet so accurate. All it is basically a light bulb, or a little LED bulb, shines right over the blade, and as you bring your blade down, it just casts a shadow exactly where that blade's going to land. I use it all the time. I mark my line, I push it down, I get the piece positioned to where I want the teeth to land on the line, or to the right of the line, or whatever. Highly accurate and so simple. Genius little things like that. So easy. This is my opinion, and not that I have any credibility, but if you need some credibility, I'll insert some pictures. Somewhere, and you can take a look, that I know how to build furniture, make you feel better. From one woodworker to another, if you don't want to waste a whole lot of money replacing a saw, give it a shot. I can't say enough good things about this saw. It does a phenomenal job. It cuts straight. It's well built. It's easy to use. The guide system is super simple, yet highly effective. I don't know what else. It does come with a hold down if you need that, and that is movable. Sorry, I gotta unscrew that. So you just turn it, pop it out, and you can pop it on the other side. Adjust it. It does come with that. It comes with a little wrench for the blade, I believe. I think that's to remove the blade, your spindle lock here. Let's see what else. If you're not using it on a bench, it does come with extenders that come out on both sides to help support longer pieces of stock. Switch to it. I guess it's pretty simple. It's a safety switch, so you can grab the switch, the saw's not going to start. You can grab it pretty much anywhere. But it's very simple. It just has a little lever in there, which I'll show you. But you push the lever to the side, and then you squeeze. So it's not super easy to accidentally start the blade. But it isn't that hard either. But like anything, you shouldn't have your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to fire anyway. So don't touch the button unless you're ready to make that blade spin and cut stuff. It's that easy. It's really not hard. Don't touch the button until you're ready to go spin, spin, cut, cut, dust, dust. it's definitely comparable to your midline or black and yellow. Is it comparable to a green and black? I have no idea. I've never used one. But I can say for more than 3 times the cost of this saw, it better be some kind of fantastic tool. But anyway, I think that's enough rambling. If you made it this far, congratulations. That's pretty impressive because I know the quality of these videos is nowhere near where it could be in, say, 6 months or even 3 months, or definitely a year down the road. I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to, of course, I'm going to keep building things out of wood. I'm going to keep making a living. I'm going to keep making money, and I'm going to continue to show you guys. So if you haven't, please subscribe. Really appreciate that. And if you would like to, you can follow along and get a little sneak peek of things I'm getting into on Instagram, which is grind_wood_woodworking. That'd be great. Anyway, like I said, thanks for coming. Go buy a saw.